Hi everyone, greetings. Welcome to Module 4B, Introduction to Building Code UBBL Part 2. My name is Architect Technologist Azrul Ismail, and I'm going to be your lecturer for this module. Taking from our last module, Part 1, we discussed about UBBL and also about CCC. What is CCC? To start with, the government approved the issuance of CCC by professional architects and engineers from the 12th of April 2007. It replaces Certificate of Fitness, or known as CF, previously issued by local authority. Now, the certificate issued by the Principal Submitting Person, or PSP. For example, architects or engineer. A registered building draftsman allowed by the Architect Act to issue a CCC for buildings not exceeding 2-story and an area less than 300 meters square. Let's have a look at the sample of Borang F, which is the Certificate of Completion and Compliances issued by the Lembaga Architect Malaysia. So it's in the blue color like this. Borang F, or full CCC, under Lembaga Architect Malaysia, LAM, or Lembaga Jurutera Malaysia. There are also Borang F1 for partial CCC. To certify the building is safe to use and completed accordingly to the approved building plan. This is reference to the UBBL provisions. Considered as the building birth certificate, issued in 4 copies, 1 for the client, 2nd local authority, 3rd Lembaga Architect Malaysia or Board of Engineers, and lastly the submitting person, either architect or the engineers. As you can see on the slide, this is another sample of Borang F from Lembaga Jurutera Malaysia. And the submitting person, PSP, is the civil engineer. Starting year 2007, we are migrating from the traditionally issued CF to CCC. Have you ever wondered why? These are the points to explain why CCC. Firstly, as a self-regulate and self-certification of construction industry professional policy. Since now it's been issued by the PSP and no longer the local authority, this is seen as the self-regulatory action by the professional. Secondly, delegation of professional liability across professions and trades via G forms, and this includes the contractors. We will touch a little bit more detail later on the G forms. To reduce bureaucracy at local authority level and ease of approving process. Subsequently, to speed up the certification processing, thus reducing losses in opportunity costs of a project or an investment. This is also to give benefit to home buyer or owner with faster vacant possession, or in other words, the key handover. Lastly, responsibility to certify buildings are now transferred from government sector to private sector. However, local authorities still need to do some check and balance approval. For example, inspection from time to time. As I mentioned earlier on, there are forms in the CCC, starting from Borang A, B, C, D, G, E, and finally F. Let's have a look what are these forms for. Borang A is for perakuan pelan-pelan bangunan or struktur. Borang B, notis memulakan atau penyambungan semula kerja bangunan. Borang C, notis siap pemancangan tanda. Borang D, notis siap tapak. Borang G1, G2, G3 until G21 is di perakuan berperingkat. Borang E, permohonan bagi pengeluaran sijil kelayakan bagi pendudukan. However, Borang E has been abolished ever since CCC take place. Borang F, perakuan siap dan pematuhan, the CCC certificate. This is to replace Borang E. And Borang F1, perakuan siap dan pematuhan sebahagian, partial completion or partial CCC, is given by PSP for any parts of the building that is completed partially. Well, let's get to know what are the G forms. So from the list you can see G1 until G21. But what are those G forms for? So as you can see, G1 is for the earthwork. So certify that the earthwork is done accordingly to the submitted plan or the approved plan. G2 is for the setting out. G3 foundation. G4 structural. G5 internal water plumbing. G6 internal sanitary plumbing. G7 internal electrical. G8 firefighting passive. G9 firefighting active. G10 mechanical ventilation. G11 lift escalator installation. G12 building. G13 external water supply system. G14 sewerage reticulation system. G15 sewerage treatment plant. G16 external electrical supply system. G17 road and drain. G18 street lighting. G19 external main drain. G20 telecommunication. And lastly, G21 is for landscape. If you are aware, all these G forms is all related back to the building services. So building services need to be constructed according to the approved plan. And this has been spelled out, the requirement has been spelled out in the UBBL. Okay, now let's have a closer look into the G forms. I have a sample of G1 and G21 here. Okay, let's have a deeper look onto it. Borang G1 perakuan berperingkat kerja-kerja tanah, referring to UBBL 25 or 27. So we need to put in the project title on top, and then the content saying that the contractor and also the PSP or the SP, which is in this case a person, qualified person from Lembaga Juruterra Malaysia, have to acknowledge that the earthwork has been done accordingly to the approval plan. Yeah? And if you look at the form G21 on the right side, it says the contractor and also the architect or the landscape architect have to acknowledge that they have monitored or construct and complete the works accordingly to the approved building plan and sign. So this is pretty much the content of the G forms. So this is what we call metric responsibility. Each and every player, engineers, architects, landscape architects, contractors still have liability when it comes to local authority requirements. Alright, now when CCC to be issued? These are the dates or the events that allow CCC to be issued. Number 1, The completion of projects is in accordance with the approved building plans or as-built drawing plans, and supervision of all work has been conducted by PSP accordingly. Second, the PBT or local authority has the authority to carry out site inspection on their initiative and scrutinize work progress to issue written notice for PSP not to release CCC if divergence are not corrected. PSP must ensure all the Gs, the Form Gs are duly filed and certified, as well as the clearance in place. Within 14 days of CCC issuance, PSP has to deposit a copy of CCC together with all the G forms to PBT or local authority and the professional boards. In this case, Board of Architects or Board of Engineers Malaysia. How about when in the absence of UBBL or CCC? What would happen? Let's have a look. There will be no standard for submitting person, like architects and engineers, to follow in designing a building or structure. It must be very hard for them, yeah? Building and structure not constructed or designed in a proper manner, which may lead to failure. This is dangerous. The use of substandard or dangerous building material may take place extensively. No CCC of certificate of fitness issued or required. The building or extension without CCC has no monetary value in real estate. Bank will not give loans for the works. Insurance will not cover the asset. For example, on fire and liability insurance. And buildings is not safe or healthy for the occupant and public. It's also against the law and can be imposed fine or imprisonment by the local government. We have come to the end. So this is the conclusion of CCC. Well, in a nutshell, the execution of CCC system has significantly expedited the whole building process, since the professionals are the one who issue CCC instead of local authorities upon completion of work. The PSP or SP or contractors hold a prevalent numbers of responsibilities and liabilities in inspecting the work's progress. Hence, the work quality can be greatly enhanced with all these parties involved being responsible. The CCC system is still improving, and the government is always working on to surpass the submission process via OAC 3.0. I think that will be all for this time around, and stay tuned for the next module. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.